Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Rafaela and today's journal entry is titled as the elimination process. Now, the elimination process isn't something that's glamorous. It doesn't look like leveling up or glowing up. It more so looks like loss and discomfort, and you encounter long pauses where nothing feels certain for you. It's a quiet work of noticing what drains you, what keeps you small, and what no longer aligns with the person who you're becoming. Before anything gets better, I think it's important to realize that nothing can enter in your life without you having to get rid of something. A necessary clearing has to take place, and that clearing can feel like emptiness before it will feel like freedom for you. Now, I think that some people get lost in the translation of the elimination process. It isn't just about removing people or habits, but more so about shedding versions of yourself. The versions that tolerate less than you deserve, the versions that stay out of fear or out of convenience or out of loyalty to a past that no longer exists. And so letting go can feel like betrayal at first, especially when you're releasing what once protected you. And that can be harder for some people. It can feel like a challenge to step into the elimination process. Sometimes we have to let go of the things that we don't want to let go of. But growth asks us for honesty and not for comfort. And so at one point, if you prioritize your growth so much, you're going to have to get out of that comfort zone, whether you like it or not. And I think an important thing to give attention to is that there's a grief that comes with this process. Even unhealthy things can feel familiar, and familiarity can disguise itself as safety. When you eliminate what no longer serves you, you're choosing uncertainty over stagnation, and you're trusting that something better exists out there even if you can't see it yet. That faith, that choosing spaces before knowing what will fit in, is one of the hardest parts about it. But the elimination process creates space for clarity, space for alignment, space for peace. And it also exposes you, which I guess that's the most uncomfortable part of it, and why we tend to remain in our comfort zone. And without distractions and without noise and without the crutches you lean on, you're left with yourself. And that's where the real work begins, learning who you are when you're no longer surviving or performing or shrinking. And so lately I've been noticing what I've been asked to eliminate in my life, not in a dramatic way, but in small, persistent nudges. Habits that are keeping me distracted instead of fulfilled. Thought patterns that make me assume the worst before giving myself a chance. Relationships and routines that once felt supportive but now feel heavy. It's all becoming pretty clear that some things aren't wrong, but they're just no longer right for me. And as I let these things go, or at least try to, because it's a work in progress, there's not much an ending to it, my body reacts before my mind does. There's a tightness in my chest, a restlessness. There's moments where I want to reach back to what's familiar because that's safe, but there's also relief. It's a quiet exhale almost, and a sense of lightness that sneaks in when I least expect it. It's rather confusing to feel grief and freedom at the same time, but both emotions tell you the truth in their own way. I think what's hardest is this in-between stage, the spaces after letting go but before becoming. I'm not who I used to be, but I don't fully recognize who I am turning into yet. There's no clear map there. It's just intuition, faith, and trust. And this is the part where I think for a lot of us, doubt really creeps in, is where you wonder if you let go too soon or too much. But I also know staying would have meant betraying myself. And I've been in this process before, even if I didn't call it the elimination process back then. I look back and every major shift in my life started with either a loss or a discomfort, and that sparked the process to begin. Some things fell apart and I thought that was the end, when in reality it was an opening and an opportunity, but I just couldn't see it at the time. Growth rarely announces itself as growth while it's happening. Even now, I don't fully know what I'm making space for. I sort of have an idea of where I want to go and who I want to be. And I don't have a perfect vision or a 5-step plan for that. All I know is that I'm choosing alignment over attachment, and I'm choosing honesty over familiarity. And maybe that's enough for now to trust that what's meant for me won't require me to abandon myself in order to keep it. I'm also learning to tell the difference between holding on out of love and holding on out of fear. Love feels expansive, even when it's challenging. Fear feels constructive, even when it's comfortable. And if I'm honest, a lot of what I've been clinging to was rooted in fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of not knowing who I would be without the things that I'm trying to eliminate. And so this process does demand a lot of self-trust and a lot of transparency with yourself. Trust that, I can handle what comes next. Trust that I don't need to rush the unfolding of things. And so patience then is part of the elimination too. Resisting the urge to immediately replace what I've released just to avoid the discomfort that the release brings. Sitting in quiet is uncomfortable, of course, but it's also clarifying. And actually, when you do take time alone, not to isolate, but just to sit a little bit in solitude, you'll realize that a lot of things get revealed to you. I keep reminding myself that discomfort doesn't mean I'm doing something wrong. Sometimes it just means that I'm doing something brave, actually. Sometimes it means I'm just outgrowing an old container and I need to make space for a bigger one and to get accustomed to a bigger one. Not everything that feels hard is a warning. Some things are invitations. So I'll end it here with a question that I want to keep asking myself, but also take this as an invitation for you to have a think. And the question is, what am I still carrying that my next version doesn't need? And once you find those things out, once you take time to answer that question and sit a little bit with yourself, I would recommend to make a list of the things so you have a physical copy of them right in front of you. And then there will be no excuses for the next steps that you need to take forward in order to achieve the best version of yourself. You'll have some sort of guidance to go based on. And yeah, that was a very quick journal entry from me. I hope that you will take care and you have a lovely day, and I shall see you next time. Bye bye.